Hi, I'm Harriet Kelsall, the Bespoke jeweller, and I've been getting quite a few requests recently to talk a bit about layering necklaces. And I think the reason is it's really in to be layering all of your different necklaces at the moment. And there's quite a young look going on where you've got loads of layers and loads of textures and several pendants on one chain. But I do think that once you're over about 35, you need to be a bit more discerning in the way you layer. You're often working with slightly better quality pieces. So what can we do? I think there's a few rules that can help you out. The first rule is when you're layering with your necklaces, you're going to end up with quite a lot going on here, which means a bit like not wearing too much eye makeup when you're wearing lots of lipstick and vice versa. You need to be careful not to overdo everything else. So when you're doing a lot of necklace layering, keep your earrings simple. I'd suggest studs or little sleepers, or if you've got multiple piercing, keep it all simple, keep it all fairly monotone and quite discreet. Same with your rings, your bracelets. You can layer a few bracelets, but just don't go crazy with everything on your hands and everything on your neck and everything on your ears, because you're going to look a bit crazy. That's the first thing. The second thing is, I think you want to make sure it doesn't look too contrived, but at the same time, you don't want everything so clustered up that you've got loads up here and not very much going on down here. So think about your spread of the necklaces. So here I'm using quite a few at once. You don't have to layer this much. It's kind of very much anything goes to some extent. But I've got, what have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pendants on. They're all at different lengths, but I don't think it looks too contrived. It doesn't look like I've, painstakingly actually designed these to go together, because they weren't designed to go together. Each one's an individual pendant in its own right. I'd say my third tip is wear things that mean something to you. All of these have a special meaning to me. I'm sure, like lots of us over lockdown a few months ago, we were all sitting there looking through our jewellery boxes and thinking, oh, I remember the person that gave me that, and this was from my dad, and this was from my aunt. Get those pieces out. You don't have to wear just one at a time if it's not you. Layer them up, and that's a whole new way to wear things that mean something to you that you can enjoy. The next thing is think about the different shapes. I think it looks a lot better to vary the shapes instead of having all circular pendants, for example, all at once. So here I've got things that they often have something in common that keeps them in a theme, but they're not all exactly the same shape. The next rule I'd say is think about your chains, because your chains need to probably not all be exactly the same type of chain. Obviously there need to be different lengths. Chains usually come in jumps of 2 inches, so you'll get 16 inch, 18 inch, 20 inch and so on. Your jewellers should stock those as a standard thing. But I've got a Spiga chain here, which is a plait. I've got a curb chain here. I've then got a little beaded chain. I think that's another curb chain and a trace chain. And the fact that they're actually all slightly different makes the look not look too contrived. You can buy sets of jewellery which are sort of designed for layering, and personally I'm not keen on those because they just tend to look too matchy and too done as a set, and I do think you do need each piece to look like its own piece. So I'd say one other rule as well is try and stick to an odd number, a bit like flowers in a vase. 3 look better than 4. Same with layering. Sometimes you can do even number layering if you like it, but I tend to think that odd numbers look a little bit better. So this is one look I'm showing you here where I've spaced everything fairly evenly. These all happen to be silver, and I've just literally put it all on in a way that I like it. With this shirt, it goes with this neckline. I quite like it when the longest one is just dipping out of sight rather than having it all so it's balanced in your neckline. This is where layering is very different from when you're just wearing one pendant, when you really want it to sort of be accentuated by your neckline. In this case, you want to kind of make sure that it just looks like it's there. I think it's a lot of the layering stuff is all about making sure you wear your jewellery and it's not wearing you, not going too far with it. I'm going to show you another look because I want to show you that you don't have to use all pendants. You can use different kinds of chains and textures and necklaces as well. So I'll show you something else. So here I'm showing a very different layered look. As you can see, I've just got 3 necklaces, no pendants at all, but I think they look really good together. Obviously weren't bought together. I like when I'm doing this kind of layering to mix textures completely so that everything is completely different from each other. I think that works well. You can do more and less with this. You can keep things a little closer together or a little further apart. You can go really up to as many as you like. I've seen looks with sort of 7, 9 of these, which can look great, so depending on your style. And then I'll show you another look. So these are my favourite pendants to layer at the moment because these are pendants that I designed during lockdown. You can probably see the theme. It was all about missing people and absent friends. So I designed these three pendants to work well together as a set, and they look great like that. But also I just wanted to show you them because you can mix metals together. You don't have to just stick to one metal. It actually looks quite good to change it up, especially if you've got mixed metal earrings and rings and bracelets on at the same time. But also, don't be afraid to mix the chains up. So as you can see, same pendants, mixing the chains around has a completely different feel to it, which is a bit more sort of bohemian, if you like. And what we do is we sell the silver one on a curb chain, and we sell the rose gold one on a Spiga, and the yellow gold one on a Figaro chain. But you can mix these up. Talking of chains, talk to your jeweler. They'll know what to do. Take all your pendants into your jeweler and say, you know, help me, I want to layer these, what's the best way to do it? You know, if they know what they're doing, they should give you some great advice, and you can buy a whole load of new silver chains really relatively cheaply compared to what you're spending on good jewellery, and then you'll have lots of flexibility to mix things around. I just want to show you one or two more looks just to give you some inspiration for your own jewellery. So here's the next one. So this look's got a bit of a theme going on. It's a bit of a sort of nature theme because I've got my maple moth and then my little shell I made in the cuttlefish casting video. And this is a little cuttlefish I made with my dad when I was much younger of a sort of seaside theme. So it's all sort of a bit naturey. So it can be quite fun to have a theme as long as you're careful not to make it look too contrived. You can see here I've mixed up the chain textures quite a lot to keep it looking a bit different so they don't look like too much of a set. And then the next thing. And lastly, I just want to show you, you know, don't be afraid to mix up necklaces with pendants because that can look really good as well. Just play around and have fun with it. And you know, here I've got a little pearl. You don't have to have it all silver. I've got pearls along this necklace as well. Just have some fun with it, play around and see what works for you. And you know, ask us, ask your jeweler. We'll be really happy to help you find a few layered looks that work well for you. We've had quite a few customers in who, like me, have a big scar down the chest, and it's a great way to cover that kind of thing up and look a bit fresh and change things around really easily as well. So have fun with it and see you soon.